Robinhood reported their Q3 earnings and disclosed a 35% decrease in top-line revenue from Q2. Robinhood stock is currently down about 9% in after-hours trading. Q3 revenue was $365 million. That's up 35% year over year, which puts you in the high growth category. But it's down 35% from the monster quarter they had last quarter, which was $565 million. And so when you look at this chart here, we have a little chart if you're watching the YouTube channel or the live stream, you can see this incredible run up during the pandemic. The company grew like wildfire. People had stimmy checks. People were obsessed with crypto. You kind of knew there was going to be a spike, and now things have come back down to earth. People are going back to work. Maybe they're not day trading as much. So a little bit of a retreat. But if you compare year over year, which is what you really want to compare as an investor, and the next quarter will be critical because you're going to want to look at year over year for the next quarter and year over year for this quarter. Are they still growing? And then you could take those two quarters, Q1 and Q2, and you could chalk those up to being just runaway quarters that, might not be easily repeatable. So they had a net loss of $1.3 billion. And last year, their Q3 was essentially break even. Some pretty heavy losses here. Obviously, they're investing in the business. Q3 average revenue per user, ARPU, $65 a user. That's great. But it's down from the $102 a user year over year because, again, people were maybe more actively day trading. So if we look at Q3s, the monthly active users retreated as well, 18.9 million. Now, this is up 76% year over year. So remember we talked about yesterday, Facebook having a declining users, but some growth in revenue. Here we have a 76% year over year growth in users. That's extraordinary. But it's down 12% from Q2. Because you remember, everybody opened up accounts when they saw the GameStop and Stonks and AMC. All this stuff was national news. Everybody was talking about Robinhood. And they also had their IPO. So that drives a lot of interest in the company. So if you compare that to other contemporaries, the old ones like Charles Schwab, they have 32.7 million and Fidelity has 26 million retail accounts. So this upstart is now right behind Charles Schwab and Fidelity. And you do expect that some people will, in a really hyper frothy market, go check out apps. We've seen it before where people get excited about an app. It's in the press. They try it. But they're not like the ideal customer profiles. The assets under custody is $95 billion. That's up over 115% year over year. Down slightly from Q2, which was $102 billion. This is a very significant statistic as well. This means how much do all the accounts have in them combined? And so super revealing that this is a lot of money to be the custodian of. Vlad noted that this quarter was focused on developing new features. And this is critical because when a company grows this fast, let's face it, the wheels can come off, things can break, have customer support problems, which we saw Coinbase, had national news, CNBC talking about people having their accounts hacked and there's no phone number. And obviously Coinbase did make some changes and got some phone numbers going for account resets. So these companies really grew faster than anybody ever anticipated. Getting to 20 million users, my God, 20 million accounts is crazy, unprecedented. So a little retreat and a little bit of like maybe cleaning up shop and building some infrastructure here is a really good move for startups that are growing too fast. We saw Uber do it, Airbnb. Many people have gone through this where things were moving really fast. And you said, you know what? We need to shore things up and make sure this is built to last. And I believe Robinhood, Airbnb, Uber, these are all built to last companies. It feels like that to me. One of the big efforts they're going to have is this crypto wallet. And so Robinhood announced that in late September. Vlad announced that the waitlist was already over 1 million users. And this is critically important. When you have a huge base of users, you can launch products that are adjacent to yours. And that will then, you don't have to acquire a customer for that service. It just shows up in your app. So when I use Wealthfront, at some point they put margin loans in, or 529s. I had Andy Radcliffe on here many times on the show. And he talked about that strategy. We just want to keep releasing new features. This is similar to Google releasing Chrome, Gmail, buying YouTube, Android. They have all these Google search users. Google Docs gets put in your interface. Even Google Plus got put in your interface and then removed because it was so terrible. It actually was a great product, but it should have had its own domain name. That's a story for another time. So Robinhood introduced crypto trading in 2018, and in Q3, crypto trading accounted for 51 million of transaction-based revenue, about 14% of total revenue. So Robinhood clearly wants to boost its crypto presence, and that's why they're making this crypto wallet. Robinhood offers no-fee crypto trading, which they can use to market against Coinbase, which is staggeringly expensive, I think, is what I hear from most people who trade crypto. 1.5% fee on all transactions using a bank account. So I know that's staggering, but I think for crypto folks, they feel it's high. Coinbase has 68 million verified accounts. So that's verified. That's not necessarily monthly. So you could have many verified accounts and then maybe, people are hodling and not using them every month. So they're reporting on two different numbers there, but clearly Coinbase has done an extraordinary job. They're also, Vlad noted, they're going to do live 24/7 phone support. And that's going to be a big game changer. Doing 24 hours, 7 days a week is coming over the top and basically providing more than, a lot of other services do where you have to call during business hours. They announced in a press release that Robinhood would be offering retirement accounts in the future. This means they're going to go up against Betterment, Wealthfront, which we have a position in. And so you'll start to see all of these different financial services, kind of race towards a singularity. A banking account, a checking account, an ATM card, a Visa card. All of these things are going to be offered in all of these services. It's just so clear to me. It's just a matter of the prioritization and how good they are, how much they delight users. One really cool thing they did was they were using Say Technologies, which is was acquired in August of 2021, and they took a handful of questions from retail investors, which typically only the banks ask questions during these calls. So they're really still on that mission to democratize. If as a Robinhood shareholder, I believe this company will be worth 10x in 10 years. That's why I'm holding my shares. Great management team, loyal customer base, incredible product design. It's not an accident when somebody gets to 10 or 20 million accounts. It's not an accident when somebody builds a world-changing, beautiful app. So when I see that, whether it's Uber, Airbnb, Tesla, you don't bet against great product and founders still at the company, running those companies, making those great products. And so Robinhood, Airbnb, Uber, all have world-class products. Uber doesn't have the founder there anymore. So that would be a little mini red flag. So take that for what it's worth. But I think they got a pretty good CEO who's been doing a pretty good job of getting them focused on what matters. And I think their earnings will be in November. They're a little bit behind everybody else. This is the big week for earnings.